The little blue pill revolutionized problems in the bedroom, but is it also a wonder drug for Alzheimer's disease? Take a look.
By 2050, the number of people aged 65 and older with Alzheimer's is projected to grow up to 12.7 million, barring a medical breakthrough. But a new study out of the Cleveland Clinic finds that the use of the little blue pill is linked to a reduced risk of Alzheimer's disease. Sildenafil treats erectile dysfunction by increasing blood flow to the penis. But study researchers also found that the same drug reduced the risk of Alzheimer's by nearly 70% compared to non-users. Cleveland Clinic researchers used a database of health insurance claims for more than 7 million people in the U.S. to come to their scientific conclusions. So is this familiar drug the magic bullet to prevent people from the devastating effects of Alzheimer's disease?
Joining us is UCLA professor and author of The End of Alzheimer's, Dr. Dale Bredesen. Welcome to the show.
Thanks very much, Dr. Orton. Thanks for having me on.
Can you break down this latest study, came out of Cleveland Clinic, how the little blue pill would specifically work for Alzheimer's? I'm intrigued here.
This is an elegant bioinformatics study looking at proteins that interact with tau and amyloid, the two major things that are associated with the pathology of Alzheimer's disease, and then looking for drugs that could potentially be repurposed. And as you indicated, one of them, the ones that came up, was sildenafil. Now, if it does indeed work, and as they pointed out, we'll need a trial, then there are a couple of proposed mechanisms. One is an improvement in blood flow. It doesn't just improve blood flow to the genitalia, it also improves blood flow to other organs, such as the lungs, for example. And that's in vascular disease is associated with risk for Alzheimer's. And then the other one, as I mentioned, is that they actually looked at multiple proteins in an interaction network that all relate to the tau and the amyloid that we associate with Alzheimer's. So it may, in fact, be changing cellular signaling. So I think it's going to be very important for all of us to stay tuned. There is going to be an upcoming trial, and we'll see whether it is able to improve symptoms in Alzheimer's disease.
Well, you're making me think very optimistically here, Doc. I think I'm good.
And I should point out, it worked much better in men, about a 70% reduction in risk, than in women, about a 30% reduction in risk. And of course, this is a woman-centric disease, Alzheimer's.
Right.
So again, the upcoming clinical trial will be so important to see if you can actually see an improvement as opposed to just a reduction of risk.
Yeah, Dr. Ish, I want you to chime in. I know you and I both lost our moms to Alzheimer's. It's something very close to our hearts. What do you think of the study?
You know, it's one of those things that it's so promising because we saw firsthand, Doc, what happens when you just can't get any help, when there's nothing to slow the decline. It is a soul-crushing experience to see somebody you love. In our case, our moms, every week, a little bit more is taken off the top and they lose a little bit more recognition and a little bit more presence. And the truly spirit-breaking part of that is when they're still in those stages where they're with it enough in those other moments to know what they're losing. So, you know, Dr. Bredesen, something like this can't come soon enough from me. And Doc, I know you share the same sentiments there.
Exactly. And we were both physicians and so frustrated that we had nothing to offer to slow down the process.